as they do. So welcome everybody to the monthly sales call. This month we've got a guest speaker, Andre. You've seen Andre chime in on every single call for the last probably a year nearly, I suppose. Or we haven't been doing
from December.
It's from December we started him here. So Andre's been chiming in since then. But Andre and I have met face to face. We converse outside of this network. And I get down the Gold Coast and hunt in his territory a little bit. But I'll get Andre to share a bit about his background soon. But when I met Andre, I was very fascinated with what he does and how he does it, because his approach is way different to mine, very unique. I'm excited for today's call because I'm going to learn something off Andre, which I did when we caught up and had a beer and something to eat. But I'm really interested to see, we nicknamed Andre the Whale Hunter, because his main focus is big corporate franchises, things like that, multi locations. Got a very wide and diverse background in the SEO space and marketing space, but I'll get Andre to do that intro on his own. So Andre's going to open the call today. He's going to share with us his thoughts about getting in front of corporate, and then we'll open it up to a Q&A, and then obviously just general Q&A after that. So everyone's happy with that. Andre, I'm going to hand it over to you. I want you to introduce yourself a little bit about your background, and then I'm going to mute myself for the first time.
Oh, no. Thanks, Wayne, for the wonderful introduction. Welcome, everybody. My name is Andre. I'm sure everybody's been aware. Like Wayne says, I'm always chiming in. So my background is, I've been an entrepreneur for the last 30 years, and the last 20 years I've been in Australia from South Africa. And we started a branding agency, which then turned into a digital marketing agency, which is now turning into a reputation agency. So I've got a very diverse background of working with corporates. And today I want to share a little bit about some of the tactics that I use. This isn't necessarily a blueprint for everybody. It's not necessarily how a lot of people do it. This is just what's worked for me over the years. So we've worked with over 400 clients in the last 20 years. We're currently working just on corporates. We had a small hiccup with COVID, like I'm sure everybody did. It made me look at everything in a different way. So we're a much more dynamic team now. We were 23 staff at our peak, but the profits were low. And what we've done now is we've remodeled everything to look at how we can get in front of corporates that we can really help and maximize profits. So that's a little bit about me. Stepping into, let me share my screen if I can. Yeah, share screen. So there we go. Can everybody see that? Can everybody see that? Yes, I've got a nod.
Yes, we can, mate. Yep. Sorry, I'm muting myself.
That's okay. So catching the big fish. So like Wayne mentioned, in my industry as a digital marketer and as a marketing agency, we're looking for corporates. We've used Climbo and Review City as a lead into getting some of these deals. We've been doing this for the last 9 months, and we've managed to not just necessarily get review clients, but we've managed to build our own agency off the back of this. So bear that in mind when I go through all of this. This is all aimed from me being a digital marketer and looking for marketing clients. However, there's a lot of tips and tricks here that might be of value to everybody. I've made this presentation pretty short so that we can leave a lot of space for Q&As. I think there's more value in me sharing some of my experiences alongside with Wayne. All right, so what will we cover today? Let me just get this thing operational. There we go. All right. So I want to look at getting your foot in the door. So the biggest challenges normally, one is to understand what your client looks like, then getting in front of them in a way that is not salesy, and get your foot in the door. That's really it. You want to build a relationship with the big boys. This is a long game. So like Wayne said, it's different to the way he does it. He goes in hard and fast, and he's very successful. And that model works for him. For me, I spend a lot of my time on the bigger clients because we sell things like print, digital strategies, SEO, and all of the like. So that's why my approach is a little different. But today I'll look at the ideal client, what it looks like for me, and maybe what it would look like for you. Introduce yourself, how you can introduce yourself to a client with not being offensive. Turn that prospect into a lead, and then getting your foot in the door. And that could be anything from a little meeting right through to an offer. I'll show you some of the examples that I've used, like current recent ones. There's actually one I'm halfway through. I'll share that with you to see, so you can see what the process is that I follow. All right, well, identifying your prospect. One of the big things that I found I had to do is be clear on who you're selling to. In my case, I've gone through, and I'll share here. I'm sure everybody's familiar with ChatGPT and the value that can bring. And without getting too deep into psychographics and demographics and everything else, you can go into ChatGPT and give it a broad outline of who you're after, and it can define it for you. So for us, it's multi-locations with between 50 and 100 outlets. That's who I'm targeting. That might be different for you based on your background. If your background is just reviews, you might do something different. I'm not sure. But figure out who you want to sell to, and see where you can add value. The biggest thing is making sure that when you make contact, that there's value. They understand that you can help them. All right, for me, multi-location brands, I look at people that are advertising online. That indicates to me that they're actually looking to be improved. The challenge with that is they must probably have got an agency, or they've got somebody inside of their business already doing this. So there's a lot of challenges that come with these opportunities. And the more you do this, the more familiar you become with how to talk to clients. Like I said, for me, I created a list here. This is just a quick idea. There's 70 people or 82 people that I found in Queensland. Some of these are the big boys. Amplifon got 300-400 outlets. So I aim very high. It doesn't necessarily say we would get them. I'm still early in the process of the review management and the offer that we do, and I'll share a little bit with how I'm offering my services. When you get a refined list, it'll start looking a little something like this, where you can find the client, the person, the name. There's a tool that I use called Rocket Research. Not affiliated to this anything. I'll share this with Brad from Brisbane. This is a tool. It is scary how much information you can get. So once you've identified your list, go into here. I think it's $30 a month or something. And you can find somebody's actual email address, their phone numbers. It's scary stuff, what you can get. Be careful of spamming laws. You've got to be very careful that you don't step over the line there. All right. So introducing yourself. No need to go shout from the rooftops. You want to do a soft entry to a large business. The challenge in 90% of the times is finding out who to talk to, then getting to talk to them, and then getting them to talk to you. So that's 90% of your problem. If you can solve that problem, you are most likely going to get a meeting. And if you get a meeting, you can identify some key problems that you can solve and hopefully be able to present an offer. Now, the way that I do it, and we started the agency like this back in 2005, which I had a big A3 book made up. I went around to all of the shopping centers and I handed the book in. The book cost me $500 back then, a lot of money for us as a startup. But we landed a 180 grand deal in the first week. So these things work, and they've worked subsequent to that in different manners. You've got to figure out what works for you, what market are you going for. If you're going franchises, it might look different. If you're going for B2Bs, that might look different. So you've got to figure out for yourself what that looks like. I'll give you a quick example of our capability document that we're sort of passing around at the moment. I haven't used this much lately. There hasn't been a need. But as I'm working on this campaign now, this will become a little bit more relevant. So things like this, our capability, and this is designed to introduce us. You're not trying to sell them anything. You're just making a comment. You're showing a bit of experience, a bit of credibility, how you do your process, the services that you offer, and then I'll put a little call to action there at the bottom. Book a call if you're interested. That's a very low resistance way to get into a prospect. And if you want to try and find out who is actually involved and who you need to speak to, you could ring up the secretary and go, "Hi, I'm Andre from Tenacity Design. We're currently just handing our portfolio out to marketing managers in case they need somebody in the future." Now, be aware that of sales, you're going to get your no's, but you will get your yeses. And when you do, all you're asking is to send them something. But by default, they're going to have to tell you who to send it to. Now, often they'll give it to the secretary, will just say, look, give it to me. But in most cases, you'll get the marketing manager or the CEO, and you'll send them this documentation and you'll get the email address. That is one of the key areas that you want to find out, because now you've got a name, you've validated from your rocket research who to talk to, and you've sent them something. Excuse me. All right. I call this the gift presentation. When we did for radiologists, we did this guide. I know Wayne, you use the same strategy. There's a little guide that we did. This we paid a lot of money for, and we just hand them out for free. Makes them aware of you, adds lots of value, and you give them a gift. The other thing you can do is do a free report. So something that we've done for the radiologists that we've just signed up now is something like this, where, and bear in mind, this is already an existing client, and all we wanted to do is sell reputation management to them. And I went and did a bit of homework, showed them where they were situated. I actually documented every single one of the clinics, what their ratings were. And as you can see, a lot of reds in there. And then I showed them a strategy on how to get to 4.2. So as you all be aware, Google, once you get to 4.1, 4.2, you start ranking a bit better. You're getting all of those conversions going up. And I figured out through ChatGPT how many 5-star reviews they'd need to get to 4.2. So the strategy is simple, and we can say, and you can do the snowball effect where it's like, well, this one only needs 5, this one needs 16, this one needs 3. So we can do a test with them on the low ones to see if we can get them to 4.2. Then we can see if that's actually made a difference to their bottom line. In essence, you're building a case study within a client, and you're getting paid for it. So that's sort of a strategy we use for these guys. I explained to them why reviews matter. So the marketing manager was aware of the negative publicity they've got. They didn't actually quite understand the massive impact it had. I've got a credible source from Forbes. Make sure when you do something like this, it's not you saying something or some arbitrary website. Get it from an authority. I also had access to one of their profiles, and I showed them they had 12,000 views in 6 months. They were shocked. They didn't even know this. All right. I then extracted a couple of the good reviews, well, one of the good reviews, and that was viewed 2,000 times, and the bad one was viewed 1,600 times. And when I eventually got to the board meeting, I mentioned to the CFO, and I said, look, 2,000 views on a good one was probably indicating that someone was looking for a reason to buy or to come to you. And let's say 50% of them converted. And I know they sell for $150 on average per customer. So there's $100,000 just there. I said, that's what you're potentially getting from this. But on the same token, what are you missing out on? I can almost guarantee you that 100% of these people will not come to you. And they were like, you must probably right. So I said, well, times 160 times that, what does that work out? That was a defining moment to them when they were like, oh shit, what's going on? We should do something. So you got to find out what is going to trigger that urgency, what's going to make them sit back and look at it. For a lot of people, money is never the problem. Big corporates have money. They just prioritize it differently. You got to make sure that the priority is your priority, not theirs. And the only way you do that is by demonstrating value and return on investment. That's all that corporate talk about. Where's my money? What am I going to get? So bear that in mind and sort of try and play towards that. I went ahead and did all of that research on my own back. Didn't charge them anything. I spent hours and hours and hours looking at things, understanding. The lady's name was Rachel. I chatted with her. What were you thinking about this? I'd really try to find a deep connection of what they find valuable. I added in this at the bottom. This wasn't in my original presentation, but something that you could do is add in a, if you have identified a problem, you've identified that they recognize the problem, then you solve the problem for them and make it low resistance. 15-minute call, and I'll show you a couple of things we can do to fix it. So for instance, like this, I said to them, within 30 days, we can get 5 of your clinics up to 4.2, because I knew that's what they wanted. Right, then we look at, and then I thank them. So you can mask this any way you want. You can package it any way you want, depending on what the client's needs are. So bear that in mind. It's always about solving a problem for them. Right. turning a prospect into a lead is, well, first of all, what is a lead? A lead is somebody that shows interest. Like Wayne says, you go out, do you value reviews? Yes, I do. How much out of 10? Well, it's a 7. That's a lead. That's somebody that's a perfect client that you want to work with. So make sure you've got, there's a guy named Daniel Priestley. If you're interested in lead generation, it's a very good, I use him as my online mentor. And he talks about the Cinderella questions. What are the questions you have to ask them to identify if they are a good client? So for me, how many locations have you got? I've got 15, tick. Are you struggling with online reviews? Yes. Do you value them? Yes. Perfect client, let's talk. Other than that, move on. Depending on what your other services are, you might sell them something else. But generally, if you're doing Climber and Review City, that's sort of the questions you want to ask. To get a lead to show interest is about that first conversation. So in the cases that I use, well, I've sent them either our portfolio or something, I'd ring back and I'd say, have you received this? Yes, I have. Great, thank you very much. Was there anything of interest? Yes or no? And they might go, oh yeah, there was. Your key indicator for me that I found over the years, oh, this is fantastic. How much does it cost? If you get that question, you've got to start getting ready because that is a hot lead. It's different depending on what you're selling, how you're selling it. I'm not going to sort of go too much into detail as to how you convert that. But now you've got a lead that's interested and you can start nurturing that lead. All right. Using a foot in the door product. Once you've got somebody interested, so they're positive lead, you want to get your foot in the door. What I do is just use questions. Wayne and Wayne preaches this all the time. Get in, ask questions. What is the problem? How can I fix it? If you can build that prospect into a lead, you can ask a few questions without them having sales resistance, because you don't want to get the sales resistance up because I'll just treat you like another person. So you want to add value in every conversation. You get to a point where they've identified a problem. There's a company in the US that we are busy with now. We're about 90% through the deal. They've got 100 outlets. I've had 3 conversations with her. Also bear in mind, this is a client that I've seen over the years. We haven't done much business with them, but I've had the relationship. And when I said to her, look, we've got Review City now, we've got all of these, they were like, oh, wow, we need reputation. They've got 100 outlets. Had 2 meetings with her, and we ended up in a scenario. I don't know if everybody can see that properly. Let me make it a bit bigger. That was on the 12th. That's the other thing, guys. These corporate clients take a very, very long time. If you want to make cash flow quickly, this is not for you. You're gonna have something that'll back up your business, that'll provide cash flow, so you can work on these. That's the luxury that I have, and that's why Wayne said, you know, that's the difference between him and I. I have a different business, and this is an add-on to my business. But essentially, came through, I highlighted the challenges that came from my questions. I knew what they wanted. I did a draft solution for her. Optimization, I won't go through the whole thing in detail, but essentially we got down to a point where I knew the biggest problem was I was paying $10,000 a month on ads, or they are now, and they're not getting any results. So my first offer was 15% less without even knowing what it is, because I know we can do it. We've had a look at the account. We know we can do better. So there's value that we can add straight away to the company. So that builds our credibility. And then I said, instead of doing 100, let's do 5. The same principle like with the clinics. We'll take 5 people. We'll see what the interaction is. We'll do a 3-month trial with them. It will not be free. It will be paid for, because if you do free, you've got a very high risk of them just walking away at the end. 50% discount is massive, and also show them what it will cost them moving forward. That qualifies that lead into a proper lead for you to work with, because if they show interest and all you have to do is prove that you can do this, you pretty much have got the deal. So we take a lot of risk up front, but we make sure that the client is right. They have, in principle, agreed to all of this. I will give them a CRM for free. I'll give them the branded, unbranded thing, so that there's nothing there. And then once we've got it done, my expectation is a minimum of 20 participants. So they have to commit that if it's successful, and we'll work out what success looks like, then we'll go and say, you have to sign up 20. In our mind at the moment, that looks round about between $500 and $2,000 per licensee. So you can do the math on that. That's big. Now that, like I said, that'll be working on for 12 months already. So there's an example of a proposal. Right, getting your foot in the door is all about getting that first offer, understanding what it is that they want, being able to provide them something at low entry level, and then delivering on that low entry level to then get to the next step. And that's it. So I'll open the floor now to some questions. If there's anything people want to know, I'm happy to share some stuff. I am working on some proposals, so feel free to ask any questions, and I'll get Wayne to maybe moderate that for me.
Yeah, so Andre, there's one question here just from a user. Where did you get those the information? Is Leads Gorilla IO, for example, one of the resources? Look, as Adrian said, what's the program you're using at the moment? That's more to get the client information as in contact.
That's qualifying the client and making sure you're speaking to the right person. So that the Rocket Research is, it's spyware, really. But it gives you, is the client current? Who is in charge? And then you can call up. Things that I do is like say, hi, can I speak to Rachel? Very calm. It's like, they think you know her. Yeah. Oh, sure. What is it regarding? Oh, I just want to send her something. So be ready. You don't want to be coming across salesy as little as possible. You want to be coming across as, look, I've got a service that I can provide. I just want to introduce myself and then gauge interest. Because if you do it that way, like I said, it takes a lot longer. But essentially what happens, they start feeling, and I mean, we all know they want to trust and like you. That starts building a bit of trust. Oh, well, he's not out here to smash something down my throat. We present ourselves as customized solutions, excuse me, but we use the same mechanism. So we customize a solution for a customer by using maybe, let me have a look here quickly.
So while he's talking about that, so also you've got in your back office your lead finder in our set in Climbo, and look, that's a great tool just to put in a niche category, chiropractor near me, something like that, and just get a general overall feel of that customer. The report the program spits out is pretty good as well, so it gives you a good insight. Then you can grab the information from that report and then customize it into like a PowerPoint, like Adrian's done. Andre, sorry.
100%. So the way that we currently are positioning ourselves is we will help you capture more reviews. So if somebody's just looking to capture reviews, we can help you. We've got Climbo. We set you up. We'll give you the tap cards. We'll automate everything for you. We capture reviews. Off you go. All right. And they're happy. So minimum fee, especially on the corporates, we haven't settled, excuse me, on a fixed amount yet, but we're around $50 a month per outlet, depending on services that they upsell. Then we talk about managing reviews. Now they can manage their own reviews, or we can do it on their behalf. I know, Wayne, some of your packages. All right, we'll do a response for you. You do it on a Sunday. It's effective. So you see if they actually want to do that. It's a good indicator when they go, oh yeah, we do need some help because I don't have time. Now, often your marketing managers are flooded. And if they are, that's perfect for you. Now, show them how little they have to do.
Andre, so one of the things I do, like yesterday, I was out doing some cold calls in Mooloolaba and had really keen interest in a restaurant owner. So I jumped into one of my locations, which we fully manage, which is my coffee shop. And there was a couple of reviews there that I knew we hadn't responded to yet, only a couple of days old. So that's when I do the demo. On my phone, I open up the app, log into that account, and say, this is how our reply with AI works. And then press post. Then I said, this is how our social share works, and press post. He was blown away. He's like, mate, leave me some information. I'll get back to you in a day or two. Knows the pricing, knows everything, right? But that's, if you've got some clients that you are managing or you've got access to reply on their behalf, use it as a demo. Like, keep it up.
Something that I've found as well, when you engage, so if you're fortunate enough to get a meeting with the decision maker or the step up to the decision maker, getting them to log into Climbo and actually physically doing it themselves. I said, just quickly press reply and see what happens. And they go, oh. And the minute they get engaged, when they're actually physically doing it themselves, they've got a thing to talk about. Now, I did a client which had, they got, I think, 16 hotels, went in, they'd already got a system. And I just emailed the girl back and I said, look, what was the good things about Climbo? And she was like, well, first of all, it's one dashboard. I can see everything in one place. That's fantastic. I can respond very quickly. I said, that's just phenomenal. Our system, which they pay thousands for, doesn't do that. So, well, you know, now that to me is still a lead. Like I'll still be sending us stuff as we upgrade and as we do things. Oh, look, this is what's happened. So those leads, when you generate corporate leads, don't necessarily go cold because marketing managers change frequently and the need changes frequently. One of the clients we're working on now is a massive stock listed company. They got 114 clinics. We got a handshake deal in based off the back of Review City. And we're working that lead now. Now, when I researched that, they've got 3 other corporates connected to them. So leads don't go cold, situations change. Yep. Never think that a lead is ever finished.
Now, can I jump in there, Andre? Because I had an experience exactly like this the other week. Had a client that was when I was with Ready Review /Wombot. She's a takeaway fish and chip shop in Christchurch in, Queenstown in New Zealand. She came on board, she was paying, and then she went, no, it's not really working, I'm out. I went, yeah, not a problem at all. She stayed on my email list. So the other week when it was bucketing down rain and doing all that, I did a couple of emails out and she responded. She goes, Wayne, can we have a call? I'm interested to see what your upgrades are, what you've changed in the platform. So we jumped on a call, we connected her up and just did a demo through Zoom. She's like, well, how much is it? I said, we're only using the tap cards. So she's not using any automations, any emails, any of that. So there's no additional cost. So I said, it's on our locals deal. It's $500 a year. She goes, send me the invoice now. Then what's interesting from that, so I quickly programmed up some cards and coasters and posted them out to her, to New Zealand. And then she sends me an email introducing her daughter who's in charge of tourism Queenstown.
There you go. Yeah.
With 3 locations we're in talks with now at $3.99 a month each.
Yep.
So that's how it evolves out.
Yeah. There's a little trick on referrals, little tip that I'm about to learn. I just actually saw this online the other day. Instead of asking for referrals, which is a very good strategy, is asking for an introduction. It just lowers that salesy thing again, where it's like, hey, could you perhaps introduce me to anybody that might be of similar business like yours or might experience some of the problems? Oh, just an introduction. Yeah, that's all. And invariably, they will talk about what you've done for them and how they've done it. So I'm actually about to try that myself. I'll let you guys know how it goes.
It works very well.
Yeah, thank you. And that is gold. That is literally gold. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. So any other questions for Andre, guys? Look, and Andre, what a great presentation. I wouldn't mind grabbing a copy of that PowerPoint off you at some point.
Yep, I'll send it. I'll upload it to everybody. They can have a look at it.
Yep, no, I appreciate that. Because I think it's a really short, simple, punchy PowerPoint.
Yeah.
It covers everything you need to cover, especially if you're in that either small, medium corporate space, where they're a little bit more official than a cafe owner.
Yep.
But it can be used for a cafe owner too.
100%. Wayne, the principle around this is the same. It's
Yep.
lead generation. And what you want to do is get somebody that's in your target market that has money, that is interested in what you do. And if you can get that, you will do sales. Everything is downstream from leads. If you've got leads coming in on a regular basis, you've got time to build your business, you've got the cash flow, you can start growing. I mean, if that's the goal of people in Climbo, of our community, that's the way to do it. Like I said, for me, since COVID, we had to rebuild literally from zero. We've been fortunate enough to have a decent growth. We've just hit a record month again. And it's all based on consistently doing and testing. And it's tweaking everything. There is no perfect formula. Don't believe what these gurus tell you. You just go out, you do your thing, and consistency will breed results. I guarantee you. Wayne, I'm sure you can back me up on this.
Yeah,
I know Wayne hits the street almost every day. It's a phone call every single day. And what do? 3-4 deals a week, Wayne?
Yep. So one of my mentors, Charlie Nichols, he holds a world record for selling Encyclopedia Britannica back in the day.
Oh, goodness.
Right. So going back old school, right? Now, Charlie was one of my mentors. I had 3 or 4 mentors when I was in my early 20s. And that's when I broke into sales training from those 2 or 3 blokes. Now, Charlie said to me something that stuck with me forever. And you guys have probably heard me say this on 1,000 calls. There's no business like show business. If you're not showing your product, you've got no business. Does that make sense? If people don't know about you, they can't buy from you. Now, as I said, I do flyer drops all the time, as you know. Like if I can't get on the business owner, I always leave a flyer. Now, I had a client come on earlier this year from a flyer drop 2 years ago. She held on to the flyer for 2 years before she made the decision. And then I had another one, which is the cafe owner we talked about the last call, Peter. He's got 9 cafes. He goes, Wayne, I've been meaning to reach out to you for 4 months. I just hadn't had the time. You know, it's one of them things where just by consistently, now I've dropped flyers off. I was in Mooloolaba again yesterday dropping off flyers. And again, like to the same restaurants that I've been before. Because you never know what has happened in that couple of months. They might have got a bad review, like how I got Greek on Soul, which is around the corner from you, Andre. I had the next door, we're a client of ours at Elston's, and then Costa got a bad review, and he knew it was an unwarranted review. He goes, Wayne, I don't mind getting a bad review every now and then because if we've made a mistake, we deserve it.
Yeah.
He said, but this is an absolutely unwarranted, unfounded review. And he goes, so I just come and set me up.
Yeah.
But he dropped the flyer off there 3 months earlier. Never did anything with it.
Pokeball California, which is in Cabell, same thing happened. He was in my trial phase. Went and set him up. I got 3 Pokeballs, by the way, which I haven't used yet. Set him up, but he was too busy until he got a bad review. And in the last, I think, 2 weeks, he's got like 9 reviews. So all of a sudden there was a need. It all just comes down to if thing that moves people to change is pain.
Yep.
That's just simple.
Well, even yesterday, Nicole had a coffee shop that she'd done a branding kit for, so logos and all that sort of stuff. And they had their opening last week, and we were away, so we dropped in there yesterday to have a look at, because Nicole loves to see the finished product up on the walls and all that. And Erin come out and we're having a coffee, having a chat, talking about how good the logo came up and how good the shirts look and all that. And I said, I've noticed she's got a couple of reviews. I said, did you given any more thought to the review stuff? She goes, no, not really. I said, well, let me just set you up while we're here. I said, have a free play for a month. So I went to my car, grabbed the cases and the stands, programmed her up, connected her up. She got 2 reviews yesterday, day 1. So she's doubled her review count in one day to 4. But she goes, oh, what's it cost after that? I said, look, it's for a coffee shop, it's $500 a year. She goes, oh, it's easy.
Yeah.
There's no pain at that level. And there's no cost to us, really, when you've got unlimited locations. You've got a small cost of some coasters and stands. Yeah. But, that she'll stay with us for as long as they're open.
Yeah.
So, but Andre's right. Too many people go in and pitch. Like, I'm a little bit of a hit and run addict, depending on what I'm hitting. But I qualify them. And if I don't get them there and I know they're interested, I'll get their details.
Yeah.
And I'll just soft follow up on them. Here's a case study. Here's a case study of a cafe.
Yeah, like I said, situations change, Wayne. Like you said, 2 years, somebody had the fly on their desk, and then all of a sudden, now there's a need.
Yep.
Yep.
And it's with the chiropractor. He went to one of the other clients who was a referral from a day spa. So we've got Rachel at Soul Ocean. She's a contributor, so my wife gets free beauty treatments and all that. And then lady who owns this wellness center, went to Rachel and saw the tap cards and went, oh, hang on, because she thought in her industry she couldn't get reviews. That's why she
Right.
hadn't chased them.
Jane said, like coffee.
Yeah.
She thought she couldn't get them. I said, no, you're not allowed to get testimonials in your industry through APRA. You're not allowed to get testimonials. You can't make claims of cures.
Yeah.
You can by all means get reviews.
Yep.
Got her, and then from her, the chiropractor.
Yeah.
And he was with Bird Eye, by the way.
Oh, yeah, they pretty ritzy.
Yep, $500 a month.
How much?
$500 a month.
Yep, there you go.
And he goes, Wayne, it wasn't working. I don't like it.
Wayne, I can't see the questions. Do we have any questions from the community?
No, we only had the one so far. Give me a look. Give me a second. Here we go. It'd be great to have input, as currently I visit a cafe restaurant and the most of sale talks to the owner. Took my details, but hadn't heard anything since. What should I do? I would, if they're in your area, I would walk back in and say, hey, is the boss of the business owner in? Did you get my information I left? Or call up the cafe if you can't drop back there and say, is the boss of the business owner in? Or when are they in? And because what will happen, you'll find sometimes, Kim, is that I've done that when I've gone back to go speak to them, and the manager never gave them the information. And the owner's dead set interested. And so I hope that helps you there, Kim. And Vix asks, could you talk more about your prospecting process and how does one even make it to your list? This is obviously for you, Andre.
All right. So when I looked at multi-locations across, maybe let's actually see if we can do something live here. I'm going to take a chance on this and see how we go.
He's a brave man. Give him a clap. Hey, Raymond, thanks for jumping on, mate. And this recording will be posted into the group and into the university as always. Why Andre's looking up that. Dan asks, has anyone ever tried Data Bar from AppSumo? No, I haven't done that as yet. I'm not sure. Someone in the group may have. If you've tried Data Bar, feel free to comment if you've tried anything like that. And guys, we're a community about sharing. So if you've got a great tool you've found and you're happy to share it, always try them up and speak. Or if there's something you're doing that's working, chime in and share it with the group if you're comfortable to do that, unless you want to keep it to yourself, obviously. But there's enough businesses out there in the globe for all of us to have a pretty good, strong business.
Keep talking, Wayne. I just want to try and clarify. I didn't have the prompt ready, but I was brave.
Yeah. So, guys, it depends on which way you're marketing. You all know my method. I'm old school. I still love the cold call. Now, do I hate it some days? Yes, I do. Right? I'm not some super freak that just loves getting rejections. But yesterday's a prime example. I had some really good feedback from a couple of customers. One was the fish and chip shop owner. Chatting to him, I'm pretty sure he was the owner. And he goes, oh, so this is free. I went, no, why would it be free? Oh, because you didn't mention any cost up front. I said, well, I didn't know if you're interested up front or not. Oh, if it's not free, I'm not interested. I said, well, mate, your burgers, are they free? I said, because on my flyer, it's clearly got a price on it. So I'm like, anyway, mate, I'll leave it with you. I couldn't be bothered with him. He's one of those guys you could tell by just that initial conversation. He would be, oh, give me a free play, and then he would never pay.
Yeah. Tire kicker.
Yep.
All right. So
what was your prompt, Adrian? Let's walk us through this.
Like I said, there are more prompts. For those who use ChatGPT, I just tried something very quickly. It spat out I said multi-location brands, and it spat out all of these for me. You can go deeper in. One of the strategies I'm going to implement now is if you go to my list over here. So, for instance, Amplifon in Australia is worldwide. They're a hearing aid company. They have, I think, 400 outlets in Australia, and they've got multiples across the world. Now, if I go to their 5 competitors, I would look at the 5 competitors, look at their outlets, go to their profiles. I'll do all my research, and I will most probably pitch them something like, hey, I'm doing this for your industry. My point of difference is I'm only going to provide the service to one person. I'm looking at these 5. Are you interested? Now, that's part of your prospecting and lead generation. So you might get 20 of those, and you might come down, and maybe that's shooting too high. Our credibility isn't enough. They don't trust us, whatever the case might be. And I'll find a zone where, when it comes maybe down to 10 outlets, is where people start paying attention. That will also define my prospect list then. I go through this, and I would go people that I know, Accor, a hotel outlet. I'm sure everybody's aware of Accor. Thousands of hotels across the world. The big 4. I'm doing one. There's Discovery Park, Australian brand, that's camper vans and glamping. I've got a lead into this. Expression of interest. That's all I'm asking for. Are you looking for expressions of interest for people who value reviews? I'm literally going to be using this document to qualify this lead. Now, I've got a contact in. I'm working on a triple guarantee. I've got to see what that's going to look like yet. This is just to build. So when you don't have credibility status, you either sacrifice price or you guarantee things. So you've got to figure out where your little sweet spot is. For us now, our profiles on socials, because we rebranded, isn't very high. We're not well known, but we have worked with big brands. So I'll be putting in this document here all the brands we've worked with. Carlton Draft, which is a big brand. IDX, which is a stock exchange listed company. There's a few big boys that people go, oh, great, work for them. So you've got to figure out what works for you. But essentially, I've already done my homework on this. So these are the reviews they've got now. So they're doing pretty well. But look at the last 30 days. They've only been, so these guys are going all right, going all right. And if my guarantee is 30 reviews in 30 days, that might be the kicker. I don't know. So
where did you get this data?
So I physically went into every place, looked at it. That took me about 3 hours yesterday, 4 hours. So I would commit about 60 to 20 hours per prospect, because these guys are perfect. They know who we are. Oh, sorry. They know people we work with. So one of our biggest clients. So we've got some credibility there. They've got 60 places. They're not responding to everything. Their profiles aren't optimized. I went and did all of that homework. Now I've got to first find, you can't go in and tell them, hey, you're doing all of this stuff wrong. You've got to first find out, do they care? So to me, I've got to first get a meeting. Are you interested? Yes. Are you willing to look at some challenges that you may have? Or do you have any challenges? And so I'll work through. So building that list when it comes to the big boys, it takes a lot of work. It's a personalized thing that you go in and you go, let me look at my list and I'll show you sort of how I'm going to be building this. Anytime Fitness. So Anytime Fitness, if I had to look at that, most probably not ideal. They don't have a lot of money. The gyms are struggling, so they'll go lower down. Almarex, they're travelers. Australian, perfect client. Australian skin clinics, I would assume, I haven't done the research yet, but around 80 clinics. We're in medical field, we do radiology. So they would find, now I've got to figure out, have they got a need? So I would go and do something like this for them, and I might go halfway through and go, there's no way I can help these guys. And I'll can it, and I'll go to the next one. So the minute I've identified that my list is good or my prospect is good, then I look for interest, exactly like I did in this proposal here, in this presentation. Identify the prospect. I literally go and find one, and I chase them. So I try and keep about 5 on the go at any one time, so you don't get that disappointment in sales, because it is the same the way that anybody sells. The reason why salespeople get paid much more than other people, because they know how to take the bullshit and keep going. Because I tell you what, when you put the effort in and they just ghost you or they run away, And you go, what? I did a presentation not so long ago. This is how easy it can happen. Hot lead from a conference, very interested, presented to him and the board, and straight after the meeting, you're not for us. What did I do wrong? Nothing. Our circumstances have changed. That was a hard one to swallow. That's $5,000 a month. That was already meeting of the minds, and it just didn't happen. You just have to have the skin. It's a tough game, but for me personally, we want 5 clients over the next 12 months. That's my game.
Yep.
And
So,
one client,
I go for 5 a week.
Sorry?
And I go
What's
for
that?
5 a week.
Yeah.
At different levels of client.
100% correct. Yeah. And the risk that I run is that if I get 5 clients and it changes the landscape of my business, if one leaves, I've lost 20% of my business. So you've got to be very careful on your business model, the reasons why you do it. Like I said, for us, we have a lot of other services. We've got a print system. So if I get somebody like a radiologist on board and they've got 100 outlets, I know that each outlet is worth $1,000 to me. So just people are making noise in the background here. So potentially that's a $100,000 client per month for me. So I've got other services to keep them engaged. So it might not just be reviews. So be mindful of how, what your perfect client looks like and why, and also look at the long term. For us, ideally, we've got 4 permanent staff and 6 contractors. Ideally, we want to have about 40 clients, all hitting that top level mark. So I'm at the moment working towards replacing my best client and then moving him one down. And then in 3 months, replace them, move them down. So eventually we'll start working our way through. I don't want to scale by numbers of staff. I want to scale by quality of client. That's my strategy. So at the moment, we run a very good business. We're happy, and all we want to do is get better. So you've got to get there first. Also depends on where your journey is with your business.
And you look at like the difference between Andre's business and mine. I don't want staff at all. I'm quite happy, just me and my wife. And we travel and we enjoy life. And I'm just building a residual based, low maintenance agency.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Andre's always been in this space that he's in, and he loves it. He thrives on it, and he loves the challenge of the big fish. I love big fish. Don't get me wrong. If I land them, I'm more than happy. But look, the strength of my business and the reason we got a strong client base is my clients, they reach out to me from time to time with a question. We answer it straight away. We solve their problem straight away. And we've set our clients up for success in whichever way we've set them up. If they're automated, we make sure the automations are working. We make sure the connections are fine. As I said, one of our clients is a multi-location tinting business. His Xero connections had the authorizations for Xero had expired with Climbo, because that's a Xero end, not our end. So I just dropped in. I said, mate, got some new tap cards for you, but also we've got to reconnect the Xero. Have you got a couple of minutes here? So, yep, jump on his computer, log in. It was with Zapier, log in with Zapier at my end, connect, done, walked out the door. He's like, wow, Wayne, I didn't know there was an issue. Right.
Nice.
And they pay me $570 every single month for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah. Nice. Wayne, just quickly, you mentioned Xero. Did Xero, with their update, did the API change?
It may have, yes.
No, because I just saw one of my systems broke yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, I saw it yesterday. I don't know when it broke. Yeah.
Yeah, it may have. Mine are working at the moment.
Yeah.
So it depends on what the other third-party connection may be. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Vic's got a question here. Thank you, Andre. As a follow-up, where do you find the right person from the ChatGPT list and contact the company? That was with, what's the software you're using, Andre?
There's Rocket Research. First of all, just do a search. LinkedIn, go through there. I find this to be very stalky. I hate it when people call me or text me out of the blue. I absolutely despise it. So, but I try and put myself in the shoes of the people. If somebody comes in with a very low, not this heavy sales tactic where they just start talking and stuff, hi, I found your details on LinkedIn, blah, blah, blah. So I use LinkedIn as a starter. I use a phone call to actually make contact. People don't make contact. And just say, I'd like to send you something, and the portfolio works. I just want to introduce my company to the marketing manager. Do you object to me sending them something? That's it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can even send them like a physical document. You go and print this at your local Officeworks, or I don't know what country you're in, but you go there, you print something, and you go and drop it off. Walk into the door and say, who is the marketing manager? I would just like to drop this off. And they'll go, it's Mary. Thank you. And then the next time you call, can I speak to Mary? So finding that person, you've got to figure out your industry and the layers. So the bigger the corporate is, the more layers you're going to have to go through. And I've, just out of interest, I've gone all the way to pitch, proposal, everything. And then they went, can you please send it in a PDF so I can take it to my boss? Like, I thought you were the boss. So make sure they've got the checkbook, or at least in many cases, the marketing managers have a small budget. So pitch to the small budget so you're already working with them before you pitch for the big thing.
And so one of the other things we did was this, we did a little book.
Yeah.
And that all this is boost your local search results for local business owners, right? I got ChatGPT to write this whole book for me in 24 minutes.
Yes.
Right? I gave it all the good prompts that I wanted and all that, and it all leads to me at the end, an automated free trial, right? Now, I got my wife to design the book. Obviously, she's very clever. And then I took it to my printer. And I got 30 or 40 of them done. And if I'm going to networking events or stuff, I take these with me.
Yep.
And I've got a PDF version of this. This has been shared in school, by the way, as a template.
Nice.
So you feel free to rebrand it. Everything I do, I share with you guys, right? You can rebrand it, make it your own, and do all that. But it's, again, those little bits of things that we've done over time. You know, we all share this with you guys. It's up to you to make the most of it at the end.
Yep.
You know, you don't have to go get it printed. You can have it as a PDF document. I've got it as a PDF. You know, I get people.
Where would we find it?
In school. I'll have to find the link and repost it, but all my stuff's in school. If you just type my name, all my stuff will come up. But I also, I've got a link to this on my TikTok when I do a TikTok every now and then, and I get the odd download. I've got an automated download and it goes a little trail follow up, and that's another lead.
Yeah.
Right. So there's all these things you need to do. Great.
Just guys on that topic. Sorry, Wayne. If there are people like Wayne and myself, we joke about, you know, territory and that. There is so much business for everybody. Don't get caught up in that scenario. On the Gold Coast, there's 45,000 micro businesses. Wayne's going to walk a lot of miles to get to 45,000 people, all right? And you just have to do what you do. We do different business, and we thrive on each other. Like I said, we meet outside of this. We talk about strategy because rather work together, collaborate, rather than compete. I promise you now, there's enough business for everybody.
See, and the good thing is, Andre down the Gold Coast, he can turn around and reference my clients because they're using our software. He can go, you know, we've got clients around here that, you know, one of our sister companies set up, whatever, you know, it doesn't really matter, but he can reference them as a case study.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But we're playing in two absolutely different markets. That's the upside. Same location, two different markets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, we're nearly at the end of the hour. Any other questions for Andre at this point? No? Any other general questions?
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I would like to thank Wayne for this opportunity, for letting me talk. I hope there was at least 1 or 2 bits of information that you can take from this meeting. I will make this presentation available to Wayne. Wayne, if you want to post that, feel free to do so.
I appreciate that.
And anybody, if you have any questions, DM me, in Kleinbo School, and I'll happily give you answers. My knowledge is available for free.
So, guys, and a big thank you to Andre for, he reached out to me privately, said, "Oh, look, I'd love to share, my whale hunting strategy." And I'm like, yeah, like, great. And, Andre and I have become great friends through the process of these calls and catching up outside of here. So, Andre, thank you so much, buddy, for
welcome.
sharing everything. We do appreciate it and giving back to the group as you always do. And I think the presentation is fantastic. I love the strategies. I learned a lot out of this. You saw me on my phone. I was taking notes. Don't worry, I'll be grilling you later.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Because I had a brain fart, which I'll call you about later, which is something we can probably do together.
Fantastic. Sounds good.
But guys,
yes, sorry. I don't know if Brad is on this call today from Brisbane. We've also been talking outside of the group, also looking at collaboration based on his business. So yeah, it's wonderful to be part of a community like this. And like I said, collaborate rather than compete. It's just awesome.
So guys, on that note, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day, night, whatever part of the world you're coming in from. And Andre, again, thank you so much, buddy. I do appreciate it.
Welcome.
This recording will be posted in the next half an hour, whenever Zoom finishes collating it. And we look forward to seeing you same bat time, same bat channel next month. And we'll have some other exciting stuff to share, no doubt.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you so much. Have a great sales month out there, and we'll see you all soon.
Thanks.
Yep. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Andre.
Thanks,
You're
guys.
welcome.